Hello, my loves. How are you? I'm Danielle. And for any of you who are new here, welcome. Any of you who are joining me from Harmonious Hearts, I'm so grateful to have you here with me in this new space. Today, I just really wanted to set the intention around this new channel. I did actually create it almost a year ago, and so the intention has been there for quite some time, but I was guided to really give it space to allow myself to grow and to allow the energies to sort of open up and expand and be ready to ground in and be shared in the physical world. So thank you for those of you who have been patiently waiting. I appreciate your patience and your connection. The intention for this channel is to really just share with you from my perspective and experiences around how I have learned to navigate embodying more deeply into my soul energy and at the same time navigating living on this planet and navigating the day to day. So it's really about this bridge of energy where we're bridging the newer ways of being, the 5D and higher unity consciousness, and embodying those into the world we're living on, where we're seeing the lots of duality and polarity consciousness and dropping in the ability to learn how to navigate these energies in a neutral way so that we're not running away or walling off or freezing. And we're also learning how to have healthy energetic boundaries and standards for ourselves and how we want to participate in this world without needing to judge or project onto other people. And I know everything that I just said sounds like a lot on one hand, but also probably resonates very deeply with you at a soul level. And the reason I'm sharing this is because many of us do understand these concepts of wanting to live in unity consciousness and wanting to have interdependent relationships and wanting to live in a world where we can be fully, authentically all of who we are. And this can be something that seems so simple, but yet when you start to learn how to navigate it in our world, you realize how frozen we've been, how much the general collective has been taught to move away from their actual truth, to not know how to navigate or process their emotions. And instead, we were taught to stuff them down and freeze them. So there's a lot of these types of things that start to come up for us as we're walking on this awakening process of where we're intending to want to ascend and stay in our physical body, where we're guided to bring in the energies of unity, consciousness, and unconditional love. And so many of us, I think, want to feel unconditionally loved, and we also want to share unconditional love with our friends and family and other human beings and animals and creatures on this planet. And maybe in some of the old dynamics, what would happen is we would forget to include ourselves in that energy of unconditional love. And so this is where we deepen into that process of actually taking everyone and everything into consideration while honoring ourselves and also acting in honor and integrity with others. Okay. We can move into these spaces of understanding that it's really not possible for us to be responsible for other people's emotions or reactions, and that we have to honor our truth. But then there's also another layer that we build upon with that, where we're still consciously living in our world and acting and interacting with others in a way that we want to have in our life, where we're still respecting their experience, right? So we're taking ourselves into consideration and also taking their existence into consideration as well. And then as you're walking and navigating these experiences, it takes a little bit of time. And I'm saying that because we were not necessarily taught how to do this. I don't know about any of you guys, but I'm going to speak about a time pre 2020, because when 2020 hit, that was when we really had, as a collective, some of us started to really take space for ourselves to have enough space to drop into these higher concepts that we were learning and understanding at a soul level, but really never had the space to fully embody into. And part of that was that prior to 2020, we were literally just pretty much flying by the seat of our pants and doing what we knew how to do. People were definitely opening up spiritually and awakening and wanting to improve themselves and wanting to self master, which was such a beautiful unfolding point. But then when 2020 hit, and we started to actually have space, right? And we started to realize when we went into shutdown, we all started to realize, well, many of us did, that we actually were not in control all along. And we used to feel comfortable feeling like we were in control and we knew what we were going to do and we knew exactly what our life was going to look like. And as long as we controlled that energy, we would know how it was going to play out. But then we often also found pockets and times and energy where no matter how hard we tried to manifest things, it wasn't panning out, or no matter what we were doing, things were still difficult or hard, or we were experiencing more trauma. And I don't know about you, but for me, part of what I learned very deeply over these last 4 or 5 years was that it was because I was operating more from the world that I grew up in. And even though I was learning how to surrender to the higher power and my higher power on some levels, on other levels, I was still trying to control it based on how I had learned how to survive in this world. But as I have grown over these last years, what I've come to understand in the new perspective that I operate from now is that all I have to do is actually intend to align with my highest vision and my highest potential. And of course, move towards the things that bring me joy and that feel good to my heart and soul and authentic to me. And as I do that, as I continue to align with the higher power, as I continue to align with my heart and soul and what feels correct to me, what's happening is I'm naturally aligning with where I'm meant to be and what actually flows to me and from me versus trying to force a specific outcome on a specific timeline with specific people, places, and things that may or may not actually be what's intended or meant for me. Okay. And so this is just an example of how we're learning how to unravel and dissolve out of the programming, out of the polarity, in the sense of this duality consciousness where we have the tit for tat or where we're trying to control our outcomes and we're actually limiting our higher potential. Okay. I didn't know this was particularly what I was going to talk about. But if we're talking about this ascension process and actually truly dropping into our authentic embodiment as a soul, into our heart and into our humanity, and moving into deeper states of unity consciousness, well, this is the way that I personally know how to do it. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be sharing. And I feel like it's important to touch on the day to day, where we're coming from, how we grew up, and what we're wanting to create, because it's within working with both sides that we actually can build the new. It's this process energetically of noticing what's happening in our life or within us that we're no longer wanting to continue to experience. Okay. So we can realize what we no longer want. We can realize what doesn't feel good. We can notice where there's toxic behaviors or the lack of unity consciousness, or where people are projecting onto one another, or where they're bypassing. We can notice these things and know that we don't want to continue to do them, right? But here is a very important piece of the puzzle. We also want to start focusing on in building and creating the other side of that and what we actually want to experience, right? And it's this process of releasing the old and embodying the new simultaneously. This is a very important part of just basic energetics, right? If we're taking energy out, we want to be filling it back in with something new. It's like driving your car, right? And if you're only driving it and you're never putting new gas in, eventually it's going to stall out. If we're only focusing on what we no longer want, right? We're going to start to feel exhausted or frustrated. We have to be bringing in the new and building the new and welcoming in the new so that we have enough energy to release the old. It's like if you are wanting to build a new home, right? And you start your blueprint for the new home. While you're in the process of building the blueprint, you don't go tear down your old house just yet, right? You still need a place to live, but you start building that new blueprint and you start dreaming and you start envisioning and you start putting your energy and your essence into the new, right? But you still have to live someplace in the meantime, okay? And so it's this process of building your new home, honoring where you've come from, right? So you're honoring the past, you're dreaming about the future, but you're actually focusing a majority of your essence and energy into the present moment, because embodying into the present is where our power lives, my loves. And so here on this channel, we're going to be diving into these types of subjects about being more present in the present moment with ourselves and with those that we love, learning how to embody more and more of our soul essence into the places where our energy may have been frozen, where it was frozen before we were even born within the ancestral systems. And how can we work with that so that we can get into ourselves and embody our true soul essence in new and deeper ways? And how can we bring in these higher spiritual, gorgeous 5D and higher concepts and introduce them into our lives in a way where we can still navigate the world that we're living in. All right. So, how can we take these concepts and start living them in our old home while the new home is being built? And many of us have been building our new homes in the new earth energy in the 5D already, but we're still in this process as an overall planet and as an overall collective. So, what I want to do is be here with you, walking side by side with you as we continue to move forward in these processes, as we check in and connect in real time in the present of what is happening and what is occurring. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I would love for you to drop your questions or your experiences down in the comments if you feel guided to share. And this is a place for those of you that know me from Harmonious Hearts. On Harmonious Hearts, we really dive into the divine feminine and divine masculine dynamics that are happening within us, within our relationships, and that we're seeing on our planet. And this is a core concept where we are watching ascension and transformation happen. And here on this channel, we're going to touch on similar concepts, but from a broader perspective. So, those of you that like to go deep into that direct masculine and feminine concept, you can join with me there, continue to connect with me there. But this process here, we're going to be broadening into a lot of other topics. This is going to be that overall ascension evolution energy. So I want to keep those and honor both of those ascension journeys. Although I know many of you are also walking both of those paths, I just wanted to give us a space where we can open up into other topics. So if you have things that you want to talk about, learn about, whatever have you, please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the comments. Again, I'm so grateful that you're here with me. And for any of you that are new here, welcome. I'm looking forward to getting to know you and to connect with you in new and deeper ways. And I look forward to our continued connection. Lots of love to you. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Take care.